Hey y'all, today we're going to do a quick walkthrough on the 2025 updates to this 2019 Hobie Outback. So our main story today about what we've changed for 2025 isn't really the XI3 or the dual displays, other than we had to replace with the HDS carbon with an Elite FS, so we'll get it out on the water and see how that works. We still have starboard side wiring, which powers the starboard display, also powers the NEMA 2K bus through an on-off switch. And over here we have the port side wiring. Clean this up, put the little cap on there, which powers this display and any other devices we want to power off of the port side bus. We've changed our battery system to a battery pack and a black pack. We have two outs on both the port power out and the starboard power out. Most cases we'll only use one, but we may use the second one over here for our active target. So this is Black Pack Pro. It's in the tank well, secured with these NRS straps, another one on the other side. We've got 4 rod holders, and this is our power to our motor. Connected over here, we're powering the bow mount, the XI3. Connected back here, we're powering the NK180 motor. How we do that internally is we have 4 batteries. If you look in here in the battery box, we've got 2 lead time batteries that are 50 amp hour, 12.8 volt, and they have Bluetooth on this side, on the starboard side. These are going to be our primary motor batteries because they have the Bluetooth and we can use the app to monitor our current draw and things like that. Over here we have 2 basic lead time 50 amp hour batteries. They don't have Bluetooth, but they have the same performance capability as the first 2 we showed you. So these 2 would be the port side battery bank. These 2 would be the starboard side battery bank. Even though we're showing you the kayak with the XI3 on the bow and the NK motor on the back, we won't normally run 2 motors at the same time unless we're just doing a YouTube to demonstrate that. Each battery is held down by a Yak Attack cleat on a gridlock mount. Each battery has a strap with an SAE connector. Right now, on each side, I've got them connected red to red, black to black, so they're in parallel. In order to do that, you need one of these SAE polarity inverters. So right now, while I'm storing the batteries, I'm leaving them in parallel so that the BMSs will sync up all the cells and trim everything out and get it all balanced and nice. When we go to use it, this lead from the pigtail to the motor with the Anderson connector will go onto the circuit breaker, and this lead from the pigtail will go onto a black lead on the battery. So hypothetical, if I'm going to use these 2 batteries, maybe I put my black lead on this one and I take a red lead from here to the circuit breaker, but if my black lead is on this one, my red lead's going to be on this one. That's not important for paralleling. You could parallel them and pull them both off of the same battery to the motor. But when you're in series, in order for it to work in series, you've got to have black off of one battery and red off of the other. So when I connect them in series, if I'm using this black, I want to use this red. And likewise up here we're using red, so we're going to use black. So now we're in series, red to black across the two batteries. Now we've got a 24-volt battery. The process would be the same on the other side. So to put them in parallel, we need that inverter, polarity inverter, in between the two SAE connectors. Then we have red to red, black to black. As I said, I store the batteries in parallel. Power from the power tap, and an SAE connector. The offside batteries, we would connect one battery to one output and the other battery to the other output in a similar manner. So now this battery is powering the starboard bus's multifunction display, if you will. Down underneath we have switchable power to the NEMA 2K bus. Once the NEMA 2K bus is powered, it's also powering the Lowrance remote compass and GPS. If we're to put lights and things on, which we still need to add, then between port and starboard bus we'll have more than enough power. So initially these little spacers were used to put the circuit breaker on top, and I wanted to have two circuit breakers so I could power two motors at the same time if I chose to. That made it kind of busy in here, so I deleted the second power out to motor power out. What I'm going to do is I bought a short stack for the 16 by 16. The port and starboard circuit breakers are going to be up in the short stack, and a red wire will go down to connect to the appropriate battery that feeds that circuit breaker, and then a black wire will just come up to a junction block that can join the black from the battery to the black on the power out to the motor. I still have to build the short stack. The real big news on this update, besides the Blackpack Pro as a battery box, is the Newport NK180 motor. I've chosen to set it up relatively simply by using the Outback's power pole mounts. I've put a pin in here to fix it where it's not steerable. This is one of the things that may change. As we test it, we'll decide whether we need to add a steering system or not. It'll be easier to do that on the Pro Angler than the Outback. Tim Percy makes some for Pro Anglers. This down here sets your depth. Here we see it all the way down. Here you see I've moved it. Now we've changed the angle of the motor. Up here you see the retraction cable. I need to get a turnbuckle. With a turnbuckle I can run this cable through the turnbuckle, secure it to here, and it'll work a little more effectively. It works this way, but I think after doing it, I think I'm going to add a turnbuckle to it. This cable here locks the motor in the down position. You see in there, maybe see in there that little panel. Now the motor's locked in the down position. If I engage reverse, it won't kick itself back up. Most of the time you want the spring-loaded clip to be up, so if you hit bottom, it kicks up off the bottom and protects the motor. So if our setup here, basically getting it mounted to the Outback was easy. I haven't trimmed these cables completely yet till I finish the install. By using the pin and locking it, I'll find out, does the rudder on the Hobie have sufficient authority to deal with that? Some people that feel it doesn't have put on an aftermarket larger rudder. That would also help for sailing. So if we look over here, here we see the cable for the reverse lock. It's going to be in reverse for a long period of time. I could cleat it off. Otherwise, just basically jam it like you see here. Some people run one cable, the raise and lower cable, on one side, like here on starboard, and the other one on port. That kind of keeps them separated, but I like the idea of bringing them to the same side. I'm never going to be cleating off this raised lower cable at the same time that I would want to cleat off the reverse lock. You're going to, if you've got it raised, the reverse lock's not important. So to lower it, uncleat it, let it come down, and there it is. Here we have the safety clip, and when in use we'd have this attached to our belt loop or part of our body, our life jacket, whatever, PFD. So we see here the red line in to our circuit breaker goes to red on the aft battery, and the black line from the motor lead is going to the black of this battery. That means when we patch them, we want red on this battery to go with black on that battery. So here we see my hands on the black and my hands on the red, the unused black to the unused red. To clean this up, I put the cover over the metal probe so it doesn't short out. I could put these inside this gate here. That would make it a little neater. But right now, these two batteries are putting out 25.6 volts, 2 times 12.8. Now I'm going to hook up the lead. Here's the junction block Newport supplies, the Anderson connector Newport supplies, along with the Anderson connector coming out of our battery box. Anderson connectors will only connect one way, red to red, black to black, so we're good there. So if I turn on the circuit breaker, now I have power to my Newport controller. I want it to say Li lithium, and if I turn it on, if I bring the motor forward, you can hear the motor running. We're pulling 31 watts, and we're at 39. Let's go to 50%. 31 watts. And we can see the Newport motor is running. Come over here. We're at 100%. The two batteries are maintaining 26.2 volts in series. They're about 13.4, 13.5 when you fully charged one of these lithium-ion LiFePO4 batteries. So 26 or 13.1. We got about 80% power left in those batteries. So we're not quite fully charged. There's 100%. Now let's bring it back. Now we're just cruising, maneuvering in the marina or what have you, or just slow maneuvering to hold a spot in the fishing area. Now if we go to reverse, we're in the water, we'd want to pull the reverse latch that we showed you. We don't need to do it here because we're not in the water, it won't kick up. Get where I can see it. There's about 40%. It's now running at about 40% in reverse. If we're in the water, we'd want this cable pulled so that it doesn't bounce out of the water with the propulsion of the motor being in reverse. You're probably not going to go 100% in reverse that often. That probably get a little bit more exciting than you care and doesn't really accomplish something. But now we go back to forward. We're ginning along. Now we're back and forward. We're 88%. We're probably doing 5 miles an hour. We'll see when we get it on the water test. What if I fell overboard? An NK motor has a built-in safety switch, which is a little hard to add to the XI3. If you've seen my videos, I just use the XI3 remote as a safety switch. Now we've turned it back on. Now we're going again. Advantage of an NK motor, it's going to be faster. It's more efficient to push the boat from the rear. This one is 24 volts, so it powers the kayak more effortlessly than a 12-volt motor. And this one has a lot more control logic, and it also very accurately displays how much current you're drawing, how much volts you have, the status of your battery, and all of that. So what we're going to do next is get it out on the water with the NK motor and test it, and then we'll come back, we'll do the short stack, do an improved version of the circuit breakers by putting them up in the short stack, and we'll probably we will move at that time the output cables up into the short stack. So I thank you for watching our presentation today, and if you liked it, hit the like button, and it helps us if you hit the subscribe button as well. Thanks again.